Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3.
morning, everyone. We'll get started shortly. Thank you for joining us at the Board of Public Works Board meeting. For those joining us in person, if you have general public comment or comment on any agenda items, please fill out a comment card in the back of the room and bring it up front. We will check for hands raised on the Zoom platform to check on public comment. First hand raised I see. Good morning, Audit LA. Do you have general public comment or comment on any agenda items?
Good morning. Yes, all of the above, and shout out to Commissioner Grant for being early.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Laura, good morning, Laura. Do you have general public comment or comment on any agenda items?
Yes, general public comment, please, and the neighborhood councils, and I want to speak on the minutes.
Sorry, it got loud in here. Can you repeat your item commentaries?
General public comment, please, and then I want to talk about the neighborhood councils, and I want to speak on the minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Gigi's phone, I see you have your hand raised. Good morning. Do you have general public comment or comment on any of our agenda items today?
Good morning. Just general public comment, please.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Oh, is that 1 minute?
Okay, President King, I have 10 o'clock. We can go ahead and get started, and we are now recording.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the meeting of the Board of Public Works for Monday, May 18, 2026. Ms. Zatorsky, please take roll and establish quorum.
Of course, good morning, everyone. Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Works, taking roll in establishing quorum. We're joined by President King, Vice President Chavez, and President Pro Tem Grant. We're also joined by our City Attorney Representative, Mr. Thomas Costello Vega. We do have general public comment, one in person, and we have virtual general public comment and multiple item commentary via the Zoom platform today.
Thank you very much. Let's get started with, actually, before we take public comment, we do have a special presentation as we kick off our Public Works Week. So with that, I will hand this over to my fellow colleague, President Pro Tem Grant.
Good morning and happy National Public Works Week. I want to begin by saying something that I mean without qualification. This department is a source of pride, genuine pride for me. Every day, more than 5,000 men and women, engineers and chemists, crane operators and electricians, investigators and administrators show up to keep the city running. They do it for 4 million residents who, most of the time, don't even know their names. That's the nature of public works, and in its own way, a kind of honor. On Saturday, we started the week the right way, together. Our first ever department spring fling brought employees and their families together at Griffith Park for a day of celebration. It was exactly what it was meant to be, a chance to step back from work and simply enjoy the community that we have built. I'm grateful to everyone who came. This year's theme is rooted in service, powered by community. I find that phrase meaningful because it points to something that's true about what we do. A great deal of our work is invisible to the public. Pipeline agreements negotiated in the public right away, water samples tested before dawn, permits processed so a neighborhood event can happen safely. But invisibility is not insignificance. The unseen efforts are the foundation of everything visible in the city. Every project, seen or unseen, powers the connection between service and the communities we serve. Today, we are honoring 6 employees whose journey to where they are today are anything but a straight line. They changed careers. They went back to school while raising children. They started as apprentices and became executives. They are first in their fields in ways that will make it easier for the next person to follow. Their stories are, in many ways, the story of Los Angeles itself. Built on determination, on reinvention, and on a deep commitment to something larger than themselves. But before we hear from them, we'll watch a brief slideshow on Public Works Week and a video we put together on the Public Affairs Office in particular, which I want to give thanks to, put together in their honor. I hope you will watch knowing that the 6 people on the screen represent thousands of their colleagues throughout this department who deserve the same recognition.
A friend of mine that I know from another program outside of the city told me about the job as construction inspector. At the time, I was doing deputy work down in Aliso Viejo, and I was working for an independent lab as a deputy inspector. And she said, "Why don't you come to BCA? It's good work, it's steady, and I think you'll like it." So I took the exam, and a couple of months later, I got a call and said, "Come to BCA, we want to hire you as a construction inspector." I was a construction inspector when they hired me, but I was previously a crane operator for 17 years. And I was getting old, I was 41, and I wanted to do something different. And so I came here with the expectation of, oh, it's probably going to be temporary, but it morphed into something else. Construction inspector 2001, and here I am in 2026, I'm the assistant director.
So I come from a family of civil servants. So my dad was a public school teacher. My mom also worked in public schools as well. So education and public service was always something that I kind of wanted to do. When I was in high school, and I love to tell this story, I actually got a firsthand look at the work that public servants do by coming here to Hyperion Wastewater Treatment Plant. So as an environmental science student, I actually came here on a field trip and was able to tour the plants. I was able to tour the laboratories. As a then 11th grader, I didn't know that 8 or 9 years later, I would actually end up starting my journey with the City of Los Angeles as a laboratory technician. So from then on, I went from laboratory technician to chemist to now senior chemist. And I guess it wasn't a planned journey, but I did get a little bit of a foreshadowing when I was in high school that I would end up here.
So when I was a senior at Cal State Long Beach, I did the on-campus interview, and I scored well, and I actually did some interviews with several of the bureaus within Public Works, and I landed at Bureau of Engineering in October 2015.
I was at that time looking for a job. I went to Workforce, which is an office for office recruiting. They told me about the Target Local Hire program, and I applied. And I started, once I got hired to the Target Local Hire, I came in as an office trainee, and then after the 6 months probation, they hired me as an administrative clerk. So I was an office clerk for about 2 years, and so for the Department of Investigation and Enforcement Division. My department, pretty much we have investigators. So our investigators will come in and out and I used to sit right in front of the entrance. So I started getting curious and stopping them, asking them questions, and I wanted to see where my career path was gonna be my next step. I got the information how to get started with the Investigation and Enforcement Division process, and now I became one. I have 7 years now with the City of LA, and it's been a nice journey.
I used to work for the aerospace industry. I worked with them over 10 years, and I happened to get laid off that particular year. And I decided I wanted to work with my hands, because I always have. So I decided to take an electrical class at LA Trade Tech. So I went, started going to LA Trade Tech, and then the opportunity was given to me to come into the city as a student worker. So I took that opportunity, and I went to the field operations interview, and I got the opportunity to start as a student worker electrical craft helper. So I was the first electrical craft helper student worker, and still am, that actually went out to the field. Most of the student workers are in-office workers. So I started from way down, built my way up, worked my way up to where I'm at right now. First woman electrician, first woman helper, first woman assistant, first woman supervisor, first woman superintendent, and now division manager. So first woman in a lot of jobs growing up.
Well, my job title was Environmental Affairs Officer. So I was brought in to deal with communities and do community engagement, coordinating with citizens related to oil and gas matters. And by, I became the petroleum administrator. So that's my title now. So I deal with drill sites, pipelines, and refineries. And so I do research reports for city council, for other departments, for the mayor's office, and I also provide policy guidance and analyze legislation.
When I get a phone call, for instance, from someone that's desperate, let's say there's construction in the street and they don't know how to get the plates from rattling, the steel plates that are covering the trenches, or how do I navigate getting a permit? How do I get building and safety to help me? All of those things, when I stop, listen, and then say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, here's my phone number, I'm gonna call you back. And they're so appreciative when you call them back, and when you get it resolved timely, it's amazing to get their reaction. They're so grateful with getting someone to listen and help them to navigate through the city to find.
So being in Los Angeles, I see the impact every day. I look out on the beaches here while I'm at work, and I can see the families enjoying the coastline. Our microbiologists are working routinely to check to make sure bacteria levels are at a safe limit for families to be out there and not risk getting sick. All of our recreational waterways as well to ensure public safety.
When I was out in the field, it gave me a sense of pride, going out there and performing my job function. But it's always good when the citizens used to come out and say, hey, thank you for getting the lights on. We've been without lights on for a while. You guys are doing a great job, and appreciate it. They always come out with drinks or with sodas, and then especially when it's out there digging and it's hot, or it's really cold and we're out there working. So that was really, it's always been a good feeling. And now at the level that I'm at, getting the emails from different constituents, praising my workers, and it just makes me feel so proud that we're able to go out there and help the community and help them be safe with the lights getting back on. So it's a good feeling.
Biggest mentor in my life is my father. He actually started his career in Public Works Bureau of Engineering. He would take us actually to work with him, and actually came out to Tillman a couple times and Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant when I was a little kid. And he showed me what they were working on here. And usually every night we would have dinner around the dinner table, and he would talk about what he does. And when my dad first started with Bureau of Engineering, he was designing curbs and streets. And later in his career, he went on to LA Department of Water and Power, where he got heavily involved with the Recycled Water Program. And actually, about 30 years ago, he was the engineer that conceived of the project that I'm working on now, the Tillman Advanced Water Purification Facility. So it's kind of a legacy project in my family.
Throughout the time that I've been here with the department, not only as administrative clerk, but now that I'm in street services investigator, I have many different mentors throughout the time. I have learned just from communicating with the public, knowing how to approach them, how to see the different perspectives. Not only when I go on there in the field, I'm not only focused on one section, I actually look at the bigger picture. How can I make things better? How can I inform the constituents better? Or when I go to a construction site, safety first. How can I approach to the workers, speak to them, talk to the superintendent? So definitely my mentors, I would say it's not only one, it has been several, from my supervisors, from my chiefs, from my coworkers. On a daily basis, we ask questions to each other and we help each other.
Mathematics. So I've had to do dealing with the pipelines, that's all about geometry. So it's not just length of pipeline, it's also the diameter, so pi r squared. I'm going back to a lot of geometry that I learned in school and applying it every day. Volume, circumference, all of that is relevant. So, you know, you're doing all these things in school. So I studied environmental science and policy at school. And of course, you had to take calculus and all these mathematics for it. But then to actually apply it day to day, I had to explain to someone, oh, you can't just do the length. You have to know the volume and pi r squared. Well, it's pi. Oh, yeah, 3 points. It's important. You got to use it.
I really look forward to the day that we complete this Tillman Advanced Water Purification Facility and actually start sending the product water to the Hansen Spreading Grounds. That's been the goal for many, many years, and we're finally building the project, and I can't wait until we actually successfully start sending the water.
My journey has brought me a long way, but I still want to continue growing within our department, within the city. So I'm looking forward to continue learning, continue expanding my knowledge, and pretty much applying for this Street Services Senior Investigator. That's my next step. I'm looking forward, I'm preparing myself, I'm doing my best that I can on my end to take that test and take it.
I want the public to know that every decision that we make keeps in mind those that live, work, and visit the city of Los Angeles, including me and my family.
And I think there's just, it's hard to understand all the infrastructure that's underground. And so much of it is hidden, but all the pipelines, utilities, and all the crisscrossing networks, it's like spaghetti under there, and people don't understand what's under the ground. And it's very interesting, but it's also complicated to work around whenever projects are happening.
What makes the team I work with special is predominantly working with my director, John Reamer, the other assistant director, Raul Mendoza, and the 5 chiefs that we have. We just newly promoted 4 chiefs. And the beautiful thing about all of those people is that they care. They care, they're honest, they're transparent, and they want to do the right thing. They want to do the right thing, and we support each other. And if somebody doesn't know something, it's okay to say, I don't know. And then we pick that person up and we help them. And then teaching the future, because I'm not the future anymore. The chiefs are. They're the future. And everything that I've learned, I teach them. Because when I leave, I'll go, okay, they're good.
So here at the Environmental Monitoring Division, we are about 100 scientific personnel, all working toward the same goal. So we are here to protect public health for the city of Los Angeles, its residents, and its visitors.
Well, I think Public Works is important as a whole, and not just the Bureau of Street Lighting. I think, you know, obviously to us it's very important because we're lighting the way for LA. But all the other sister bureaus have something that brings into Public Works.
Public Works is important because we lead the charge in creating and sustaining a thriving community for all people to live in and enjoy.
Public Works is important because it affects so many people. From the roads you travel, the pipelines that are underground that provide electricity or natural gas so your stove turns on, all of these things are important and it affects everyone.
Public work is important because it makes it safer. It brings safer streets to the community and a safer environment and a better quality of life. That's what we want in the city of LA.
Public Works is important because we are helping our communities. We are helping people navigate the complicated, sometimes complicated system of obtaining a permit, problem solving with construction noise. Whatever it is, we are here to serve the public. And that's, to me, is what makes me motivated every single day to get up in the morning and come to work, is to help and assist my fellow city employees and city residents.
I mean, wasn't that remarkable? I tell you, I think not only should the electeds, but I think every resident in Los Angeles should be onboarded with these videos to really understand what we do. Now, without further ado, we'll start beginning the the presentation of certificates of recognition to our 6 honorees. And first, from the Bureau of Contract Administration, Raul Mendoza, presenting to Angela Martinez.
Thank you, Commissioner Grant. Good morning, Mr. President, Vice President Chavez. I've worked with Angela for, and I should say, you know, John couldn't be here today. It's a big day for him and his family, but when he asked me, can you go to board? I'm not going to be able to make it out. I was like, yes.
A bit closer.
For who? And he said, Angela. And I said, oh, absolutely. I will be there. I've only worked with Angela really for only a few years and probably only really got to know her better over the last couple of years. But what I've learned is really what an amazing person she is. You know, they talked about it, or she talked about it in the video. She's been working as a crane operator, and she did that for 17 years before she came to the city. And I just think about how admirable that is. By the way, she also enjoys a good laugh, so I hope she'll laugh when I tell her that was also the same year I was born, 1984, when she started her career. But 17 years in that profession as a female, you know, obviously a male-dominated industry, particularly in 1984. To be able to do that and persevere through 17 years, I'm sure she didn't walk in and just earn everybody's respect the moment she walked in, right? She had to work for that, and she worked every day for that for 17 years, which is a testament to who she is. And that's the person I've gotten to know too. When an issue comes up, she talked about the steel plates and things like that when we get complaints from residents. She digs and digs and digs until she finds a resolution. She doesn't give up. And she does love learning, even though she's 40 years into a life of construction. She is always wanting to learn more about little details. When we walk a job site, she's asking questions of our inspectors, of the contractor, because, you know, even there's so much complexity to construction. You just can't know everything, right? But she is humble enough to ask questions and learn, even in the position as assistant director. So she loves construction. I think she's fascinated by it. She lives for it. But she also mentioned, I mean, she talked about John and the other chiefs, and that everybody cares. Angela cares. You know, she cares about the work. She cares about the Bureau. She's always trying to make sure that, as she said, the people after her that are coming in from the inspector trainee that's there on the first day to the new chief construction inspector, she's always willing to help and do whatever she can for them. So I'm not talking a lot about her work because I'm just talking about Angela as a person. That's who I know and what I've seen of her every day. And I will tell you one last personal story, which is I was having some work done at my house. She's laughing. She didn't come to inspect it, don't worry. You know, it was during the heavy rains. There was an open trench next to our house, so it was a little bit of a scary situation. So I'm talking to Angela, asking her advice. And so, of course, on the weekend, who shows up at my house? Not just to give me advice, but she's there shoveling dirt, moving sandbags to help me out. So that's the person that Angela is. So yes, I could talk about all of her work that she did that led her to be an assistant director that John selected. But to me, it's also about who she is as a person. And so that's who I'm very proud to honor today.
Angela, thank you so much to the board. The following words that I'm going to say are absolutely true. It's always an honor to come here. Thank you so much for your support, and you guys are amazing. I don't have enough to say good things about you to say. It's just words, but you guys really do care, along with all of my peers in the audience, and we now know that I'm old. Thank you, Raul. And yes, and I brought tarps to his house too. He forgot that part. Thank you again. Enough words were said by me today. I just really appreciate this honor, and a shout out to Commissioner Mitchell and Cardenas. and to all of you. And Spring Fling was awesome. Thank you both, all of you, sorry. P.S. Thank you, John Reamer and Raul Mendoza.
Bureau of Engineering, if we could have now the Bureau of Engineering with Senior Environmental Engineering Division Manager Ethan Wong presenting to Michael Van Wagener.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you for this honor and allowing us to be here to celebrate National Public Works Week, and especially to be here to honor Michael, fantastic employee for the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division. As a division manager, I've gotten to know Michael over the course of the last 6 years, which is more than half of his city career. He's been with us for 11 years and largely with the Environmental Engineering Division. And he's been very impactful. He's worked here at the Environmental Engineering Division as a civil designer and currently construction manager. And as you noted from the video, he's heavily involved in water recycling projects and has been. He has a history of that. He worked on the Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility that sends recycled water to LAX. He also worked at the Terminal Island Advanced Water Purification Facility on the upgrade for our advanced oxidation process. And then finally, his current job is working at the Donald C. Tillman plant on, the $500 million advanced water purification facility that'll be sending over 45 million gallons of clean drinking water to the citizens of LA every day. Just really happy to be here celebrating Michael. It's incredible to see your growth over the last 6 years, and really can't wait to see what you do next and say a few words.
All right. Good morning, commissioners. I'm very excited and honored to be here today. I just want to thank the Board of Public Works, Bureau of Engineering, and the Environmental and Engineering Division for this great honor and this award. Really appreciate that. And I just look really forward to many more rewarding years in my career. So thank you all very much.
Next, if we could have LA Sanitation honoree Jesus Rocha being presented by Sanitation Manager Mahesh Pujari.
Good morning, commissioners.
A little bit.
Can you hear me?
Maybe.
Hello? Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. Good morning, commissioners, President Kang, and other commissioners. Well, I was really happy and I felt I'm fortunate that I'm here to honor Jesus. Jesus, I know Jesus for a long time, since he joined sanitation. And my first interaction with him was I was taking civil service examination years back. How many years, Jesus? 12 years. Anyway, and he came to my interview room and really he stunned me. He did so well. I thought that he is probably one of the future. And he came on board with a very high score. And few things I don't want to drag on. I think he deserves a lot of appreciation. He was a graduate from UC Riverside, and I believe he did very well in the department. And when I was USC as a faculty, I used to go to our chemistry department, beautiful department, very nice. Jesus goes on and beyond. He's not supposed to do all this, but he has worked with the compounds of emergency concern. And this is a national crisis. And Jesus has showed many interest. And he took the sanitation a little further than other department to work on the subject. He has also developed many methods. It sounds simple, but it's not simple because when we develop a method, we don't outsource to the contract laboratory and we keep it inside. So we save money. So thank you, Jesus, what you have done for that. You know, and also at the time I was managing the quality assurance department, and the biggest challenge I had, COVID came to all over, and city was not spared of COVID. People started working from home, and a lot of samples content was not coming into the city. At that time, there was demand to move city of Los Angeles to operate our laboratory TNI standard. It's a NELAC standard. It is the highest standard in the world, and it goes by ISO 20225, I17025, all this accreditation. It is just marvelous. And when I started initiated the program, people are crazy with me. Why you are doing this, giving a lot of hard work to people? And you see, we're one of the first agency in local Southern California got accredited by TNS certification. And whatever ESS has contributed, it is just on and beyond. Very nice. And lastly, I'll say that like a EPJ flower is a smell, you don't have to brag about it, it comes out. So that smell I see in ESUS, and just to recognize that American Academy of Environmental Scientists and Engineers is a very prestigious organization. It is in Maryland, and there is a program, 40 under 40 recognition. If a person is under 40 years and make a distinguished work, they are recognized as a honors in this country, and ESUS is one of them. So he was honored. And I was really happy that our employee, we hired them, we promoted them, and they're moving forward. I'm pretty sure I may not be here to honor them again on the board, but he might come back again to the board with another honor. Congratulations, Jesus.
So I wrote something. I'll just read the end of it since it's rather long. So I wanted to end today with that same story that I said in my little clip there. So the year was 2006, and there was a high school sophomore going to school in East LA who was heading on a field trip with his environmental science class. You know, that day, the student toured the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant and walked through the halls of the EMD laboratories. At the time, the student had no idea what was to come, but that was his first experience with public works. He saw the hustle and bustle of a certified laboratory with scientists moving left and right. 10 years later, that student will return to that same water reclamation plant to begin his city journey. That student was me. Now I provide those same tours to a new generation of scientists and future leaders. Indeed, it's a full circle moment. All this to say that even though we are scientists, engineers, skilled tradespeople, administration, and countless other job classes, we are first and foremost public servants. What we do daily impacts our constituents, whether through our work or through the inspiration we may provide. On behalf of myself, the Environmental Monitoring Division, and LA Sanitation and Environment, thank you for this recognition, and happy National Public Works Week.
And now Bureau Street Lighting honoree Sylvia Torres, being presented by Assistant Director Fabian Cheng. Is Fabian here? Oh yeah, good.
Good morning, Commissioners, President. All of our colleagues are present here today at the Board of Public Works. I'm very happy and proud to be a Public Works employee in celebrating National Public Works Week. This is a very important week for all of us that work in Public Works. And today, the Bureau of Street Lighting is happy and honored to recognize Sylvia Torres for this distinct recognition on this week. Sylvia currently works as a superintendent and division manager at the field operations divisions at the Bureau of Street Lighting. But her career actually began back in 1992 when she was hired as a student worker in lieu of an electrical craft helper. And some of the information or some of the comments that she made on the video really kind of paint the picture of what she has gone through as in her career in the Bureau of Street Lighting, all within the city of Los Angeles. You know, throughout the years, she has promoted through the ranks of being an assistant street lighting electrician, street lighting electrician, and then street lighting electrician supervisor. So a lot of words, but short to say that Sylvia is a devoted employee, and I truly consider her, you know, a friend and really a mentor, even though our disciplines are a little bit different, but they intertwine really in the work that I do as an engineer and the work that she does as a construction in the field operations. She's very much respected by everyone at BSL. She's very approachable and has a can-do attitude, always looking to share her knowledge and train the next generation of BSL street lighting electricians. She is truly a public servant. Not only she cares for her employees at the yard in the field operations, but also she cares about the constituents that we all serve in the city of Los Angeles. So that is important to note. And I know that you know, she will continue to do a great job in really improving the operations of the Bureau and being more efficient and really fostering that community within her workplace to be able to do great things in the future. So with that, you know, congratulations, Sylvia. And I do want to call Megan, our assistant director, to say a couple of words because she's worked with Sylvia, you know, day in and day out. So I'm sure she has some anecdotal things to say. But Megan, please.
He puts me on the spot. I wasn't even going to be here today, and now he calls me up to speak. So we've honored Sylvia before, and it's warranted again. As Fabian said, she's here day in and day out, worked her way up in the ranks. She's well respected by her colleagues. There's like 3 rows of people here, and knowing Sylvia, she told no one today that she was being honored because she's humble and she just keeps her head down and does the work. But I'm glad the whole team is here, and it just shows, you know, how appreciated you are by everybody at the field office. So congratulations and thank you. It's always a pleasure working with you, Sylvia. And, you know, she faces all of these challenges. Our infrastructure is falling apart. We don't have enough staffing to keep the lights on, but somehow she manages to do it every single day. So again, happy Public Works Week, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. I didn't have a speech ready, so I'm just going to go say a couple of things. Thank you, commissioners, for this award. But I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be standing here, and wouldn't be for the people next to me and for my coworkers, the men and women behind me that come to work every single day and try to do the best. And like Megan says, we are unfortunate right now having to deal with all the light outages that we currently have. We're doing our best. And I'll just like to say thank you very much, and thank you for the hard work. Thank you, Fabian, Megan, and Miguel, especially Miguel, for giving me the opportunity for me to run and give me the keys for FOD. So thank you.
And next we have a virtual recipient, Bureau of Street Services honoree Yuriana Salinas, but in her place in living flesh would be Charles Smith, her supervisor, receiving the award for and being presented by Assistant Director Ana Tabueno Ruddy.
Good morning, President Kang and Commissioners. Thank you so much for having Public Works Week and recognizing all the unsung, hardworking heroes of Public Works this week. For us, I'm pleased to offer a few brief remarks about Yuriana Salinas. She's one of our street services investigator. And while I don't oversee her day-to-day work, every time I do check-in meetings with our chiefs, I always hear the same regular praises about Yuriana. And it's like, who is this Yuriana that I keep hearing about? She definitely is a symbol of professionalism in our Bureau in investigation and enforcement, and her positive impact on the team. Yuriana's journey is a strong example of resilience, tenacity, and making the most of an opportunity. She began with the city through the Targeted Local Hire Program in 2019 as an office services assistant, and through her own initiative and determination, continued to take on greater and greater responsibilities and grow professionally. So the Targeted Local Hire Program creates an important pathway, but what happens after that opportunity is often depends on that individual. And this is where Yuriana shined. It's because she was given this opportunity and she developed even further based on that opportunity. While working full-time and raising 2 school-age children, she pursued additional training, completed the post-Level 3 Academy, and continued advancing into the role she holds today. So her story is not only a success story for the program, the TLH program, but also a reflection of her character, commitment, and perseverance. So with that, I would like to turn it over to her supervisor, Chief Street Services Investigator Charles Smith, who can speak more directly on her behalf since Yuriana is on a well-deserved vacation right now. And so I'll pass this on to Chief Charles Smith.
Thank you, Assistant Director. I am so elated to have this opportunity to speak on Yuriana's behalf. She's a person that has displayed a high level of professionalism with the Bureau of Street Services. And what I personally know about her is that she was one of our standout reserve investigators that participated in the Reserve Investigator Program. It was 4 years that she volunteered her time on weekends and nights to gain more in-depth knowledge and understanding as to who we are and what we do. It is that same drive that she carried over rather, in her quest to become a full-time street service investigator that led her to participate in the police academy where she graduated. It was self-funded, out of pocket by Yuriana. It just shows, that's just an indication of who she is as a person with our Bureau. And what I love about it, she also participated in processing all of our special events permits for our Bureau. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to speak a few positive words on her behalf. And one thing that was not mentioned, that if I could highlight, was her academic success. She holds a bachelor's degree in film and media from Cal State Los Angeles. And so I'm so happy for her. I wish her well. I know great things are ahead in her future. Thank you.
And now Public Works honoree Erica Blyther, presented by Assistant Executive Officer T.J. Knight.
Good morning, President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant. I'm TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works, and it gives me great pleasure and it's an honor to be selected or to represent the Board of Public Works and be selected by the commissioners to present Erica with this recognition during Public Works Week for the Board of Public Works. I just have a few notes I'd like to put on the record. The Board of Public Works honors Petroleum Administrator Erica Blyther from the Office of Petroleum, Natural Gas Administration and Safety. Erica began her environmental career early on with an interest in science in elementary school. She would encourage friends to recycle, and then later in college, Erica decided she would study the environment. After graduating from Westchester High School in Los Angeles, thank you. She went on to Duke University and earned a degree in environmental science and policy, which included a semester in Madagascar and internships at a landfill and at Hughes Aircraft. She began her city career in 1998 with the Environmental Affairs Department, and then worked in various city departments, including Water and Power and the Los Angeles World Airports. She promoted into Public Works in 2018 as an Environmental Affairs Officer with OP&G, and then later, a year later, as Acting Petroleum Administrator before being selected for the permanent role in 2021. Among Erica's key responsibilities, she serves as lead negotiator for pipeline franchise agreements and conducts community engagement and policy analysis. She performs these in many other roles while overseeing a staff of 6 people, and they help with various tasks that the Petroleum Office handles. Erica is the first woman and first woman of color to hold this position, which is a great tribute to her and a testament to her hard work over the last 28 years in a unique role that requires specialized education, knowledge, and experience. Congratulations for this recognition and career path that has brought you to this very important role for the City of Los Angeles, Erica.
Thank you, TJ, and thank you, Board of Public Works. It's truly an honor to be recognized, and I appreciate it. Petroleum can be so hidden and so complex. In 1892, Edward Doheny drilled the first oil well in Echo Park, and that set off a major population boom in Los Angeles, so that became a big industry. We still get calls when tar bubbles up in people's yards. They're saying, what do we do with it? So it's complicated. We have to work with Street Works on things like that. We are currently at an inflection point where we are trying to transition away from fossil fuel, but we're still very much dependent and feel the effects of geopolitics. One thing that we are working on has been mentioned is the underground infrastructure with the pipeline that are in the public right-of-way. We're working to make sure all of those pipelines are compliant with the city's standards. So thank you all for your support. Some of you, we go through long, complicated, painful board meetings sometimes dealing with these issues. So I appreciate the support of the board. I appreciate all my fellow city workers. We are an office that definitely works with many other city agencies, so thank you all. And again, it's a great honor. Thank you. Oh, and P.S. thank you to my mom who always took me to science classes and got me interested in science, and she's here today, so thank you, Mom, for being here.
Now I've got to ask my colleagues to join me in closing remarks. Vice President Chavez.
Thank you, John. Well, it's really a pleasure to be here as we celebrate National Public Works Week. And it's really important to understand that cities all across the country are celebrating this week. And I think something that's especially meaningful for us to all understand is that National Public Works Week actually started here in Los Angeles. It started as a public education campaign led by Rear Admiral Cushing Phillips, who also happened to be the board president of Los Angeles Public Works. And I think that he led the public education campaign. He saw that there was a need to educate the public, but also our elected officials about the importance of public works and what it is that we all do here. And 66 years later, that mission still matters just as much because of what you do day in and day out. You know, you manage, you maintain, you design, you build, you plan the infrastructure that 4 million people rely on every single day. And that's not a small feat. And so I want all of you to know that it's this board's 24/7, 365 days a week job to do this public campaign of educating public and elected officials about the importance of the work that you do day in and day out, because it doesn't end at 5 p.m. It's the thing that people don't think about until crisis strikes, when it stops working. And so to every single employee being honored today, but also to everyone else, those of you who are being honored today, you're ambassadors. Take it back to your colleagues and let them know that everyone is seen. All of you are seen, and we appreciate you and we thank you. So congratulations.
So I also want to echo all of my colleagues and what beautiful remarks that we heard from all of our bureaus as well as the board. Thank you so much. As Commissioner Grant mentioned earlier, we started this week at a beautiful picnic at Griffith Park on Saturday, where the mayor, as well as our Councilmember Hernandez, who chairs Public Works, as well as Councilmember Hutt, along with the full board, was there to celebrate. And our goal was simple. We did not want to talk about potholes or budget whatsoever. We wanted to just focus on celebrating you and just building community as a team, as the Department of Public Works. So once again, thank you and congratulations. And I'm glad to, as VP Chavez mentioned, to continue that trend, tradition of recognizing all of our amazing civil servants here at the city.
So we've heard and seen 6 careers, 6 paths that look nothing alike. And yet, when you lay them all side by side, they tell us a single story about giving your work life to the city of Los Angeles in public service. Angela Martinez running a crane before she ran a division. Jesus Rocha coming back to the plant that first sparked his curiosity as a teenager. Yuriana Salinas attending the police academy at night so she could officially do what she's already doing day by day. Sylvia Torres and Erica Blyther, each becoming a first. Michael Van Wagener quietly building the water infrastructure this city will rely on for the next generation. Every one of them tell a story worth telling in this chamber. These are not simply good employees. These are the reason the public can trust that the lights stay on, that the water runs clean, and that the city keeps moving. They are what public works looks like when it works. Someone once said, it might have been me, that public works is a biography of a city, written not in words, but in pipes and pavements, in clean water and working lights, in 10,000 decisions made every day by people whose names never make the news. Today you heard 6 of those names, 6 chapters in that biography, and behind them, 5,000 more. I want to thank our honorees, their presenters, and everyone here who joined us today. Public Works, as my colleague said, is a 24-hour, 365-day operation, and so is the commitment of the people who run it. This week is one small way of saying, we see you, we are grateful, and your work matters. We'll now step outside for a few moments to the Spring Street for photographs. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, folks. So we'll try to come back here real quick, but we'll take a brief recess. Just a couple changes to the order. We'll quickly do public comment, take up CIP, and then the rest of the items. Thank you very much. Time now is 10:51 a.m.
good social. Okay. We are recording. Let me reestablish quorum. President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant. We have quorum. Let's roll.
All right, thank you very much. We'll now get started with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items, and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We'll start with in-person speaker, Luis Gutierrez.
Good morning, members of the board.
Luis Gutierrez, Business Systems Specialist and Executive of U.S. Journal Holdings. I am here to formally enter into the record a critical infrastructure liability regarding the facility access point at 251 East 6th Street. Through my independent safety audit, I have identified a dual threat malfunction. The door remains unsecured, creating a wide open breach, yet operates with excessive mechanical force upon closing. This is not a maintenance request. It is a documented safety hazard involving high pressure impact that poses a risk to both staff and the public. This location serves as the control site for my upcoming infrastructure project. If the city cannot secure a primary entry at a law enforcement facility, it signals a systemic failure in our public safety protocols. I am requesting this be escalated to a priority work order. I am here to ensure that us, the new America, begins with functional, safe, and secure portals for all citizens. Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Let's transition to our virtual comments.
Okay, our first hand raised is Audit LA. Good morning, Audit. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Good morning, Mr. Tupsky. I wanted to speak again about L. Ron Hubbard Way. Again, continuously, their security is acting like this is their own personal compound, continuously intimidating people. Even, I mean, they know me. They know I'm not a danger. They know, I guess they think I'm annoying or whatever, but I'm not a threat. I'm there enjoying my public space. And yet they still try to intimidate me with their guards, coming up to me. And I'm at the point now where I'm going to start reporting them to BSIS every single time. They don't have a contract to work for the city to patrol city streets. So I am asking you to please enforce it. Revoke the R permit. They feel they own the city, the street because they have that R permit. I have not seen any evidence that they abide by that R permit on any level. I also want to address, if I have time, their sidewalk on Fountain, which is ridiculous. I can't get through. So they're happy with that. That's why they won't fix it, because I can't get by in its share. But yet they are paving and making this huge brick patio extension to their cafeteria.
Speaker. That's 1
minute. Thank you.
Our next hand raised is Laura. Good morning, Laura. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Good morning. So yes, I would like to congratulate the Public Works Department for being around and obviously being there for the city at so many times. But what needs to happen, for the record, is that this year, 2026, Public Works of Los Angeles said no to Scientology's permits, said no more L. Ron Hubbard Way. We bring it back to North Berendo. You start putting on all the agendas and on the board the fact that we have been asking for the revocable permit to be brought up so that our neighborhood and everybody in Los Angeles can vote on this matter and revoke it back to North Berendo Street, as they're using L. Ron Hubbard Way as a cult gang-related tactic to get people into Scientology. So bring it back to North Berendo Street, and also stop giving any permits to Scientology, since they're only using it to harass members and protesters and audits people that go to audit them for their criminal behaviors and then get reported or reporting their crimes. So that needs to be exposed. The Public Works.
Our next hand raised is Gigi. Gigi, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay, so again, I want to ask, why did they have volunteers doing underground electrical work on L. Ron Hubbard Way? Why was that allowed? Why weren't there people that were trained to do that, doing that? That doesn't sound safe at all. Like, that sounds just too crazy to even be real, but it happened. So like, is that still happening? Do you guys still allow people to just volunteer and work on, electrical work under a public street? Like, hopefully you don't. But also you guys need to revoke that permit. You need to rip those bricks up. Why isn't there metered parking there? Why is there no parking at all there? Like, how come parking's so hard to find, but there's no parking on L. Ron Hubbard Way? Yet no one can even back that up, that there's no parking. But you sure as hell can get a ticket for parking on there. So what's up with that? Thank you. I yield my time.
All right, President King, that's the end of our general public comment.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll close general public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We do not have any in-person speakers, so let's transition to our virtual comments.
Okay, our first hand raised is Audit LA. You'll have 3 minutes. Please mention which items you're speaking on. Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to start with the presentation. I do want to congratulate and thank everyone in Public Works, the commission included, everyone who was presented and honored, because you guys do work very hard. I know the pay's not enough or whatever, there's not enough budget, all this stuff. And it was very interesting hearing it. The one thing I'm just asking, kind of what Laura touched on, that going forward, yes, it's always, great that how much you build and all this stuff. But the one thing that I feel is lacking within this city is enforcement. And it could be a budget problem or just because it's not fun, right? It's better to build a bridge than to have to realize, or like the first speaker said, that something's seriously wrong and we need to look into it and enforce it. It's not as fun to see or good or glamorous to see what's wrong and try to fix it and make it right. But we need to, and that's what I want to ask you to focus on is Public Works next, going forward. And with our particular issue, we've been coming for 2 years. I don't know if it's the squeaky wheel should get the grease type of thing, but if so, then please look into what we've been presenting for 2 years when it comes to enforcement. It's a daily issue. Now I'd like to talk about the minutes. Okay, very important. Whatever that person that came first, that's a really important issue. So is ours. I mean, they're all equally important. But my point is that not everything is just about Scientology. I know, I get it that your minutes would reflect Scientology, a lot of that. I get it. That might be, again, annoying to you, or, you just don't want to deal with it. You don't want them coming down on you. You don't want to be fair gamed. I understand all of that. But it's still, we need to reflect the record. What that means, so going back, that is important. What he's saying is something like I didn't even understand what he was talking about. And I feel nervous now because I know there's something out there that sounds like it's a danger to me if I go there. I want to know what it is. And it would be nice to have that record that we could look back on and see where we've come. And with neighborhood councils, I am asking you to please continue. I do see in your manager meeting that you are discussing a report about neighborhood councils. I'm not there in person, so I cannot attend the meeting. I wish I was. But I would really, really encourage you to continue, because even with, Laura has mentioned numerous times, the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council, they may really want to have more information, more input, because you guys are not sending out, from what I understand, unless it's changed recently, you're not sending out like you're supposed to when there's permits coming. We also need to be able to know when film permits are coming. We've noticed only a short amount of area gets notified, but there needs to be a portal where we can always manage and look at what is coming. We have a right to know. We need transparency. There's not enough transparency. In fact,
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Time. All right, our next hand raised is Laura. Laura, you'll have up to 3 minutes. Please comment which items you're speaking on.
Okay, I'm going to speak on the minutes and neighborhood councils. And I just really want to echo what Audit LA was just saying, that it's super important in terms of the minutes for us to have that on the record, but just for anybody. It constantly, every time we look at the agenda, it says, minutes was taken, or, public comment was recorded, or approval of minutes. And it's not okay. It's a simple thing that can be handled. It would literally take somebody in the city or Audit LA as she offered 10 minutes to do the minutes. It's simple as that. So please fix that. We've been demanding it. We want to see that we've been demanding to revoke Scientology's permits, to stop giving them any permits. We've proven to you that they are using these solely just for recruitment tactics. And if we need to bring that eventually in the future to lawsuits and to the legal system to show their corruption and the infiltration of the city, then it's very needed that the city put it on the minutes. Make it obvious. Make it a fucking thing. If you feel afraid of Scientology, put it on the minutes. That's something you can do. At least we'll have a record that showed that people were calling in for years now asking you to stop giving the gang of Scientology permits, period. And then if you notify the neighborhood councils, that is an important thing. Neighborhood councils need to know that they have the ability to change shit fucking corrupt organizations like Scientology hiding behind religions. They are able to change that in their neighborhoods. Whether Karen Bass and Hugo is on the stage and fronting their little, awards for Scientology, it's not okay. I don't give a fuck how much PR Scientology spends trying to make public works and the city look like, oh, look, we're so good. No, they're not. That's part of their gang control, is to do that with your permits. So notify the neighborhood council so that they actually know what is going on and that Scientology uses the neighborhood councils and the CPAPs and all the board meetings to
Thank you,
get
caller.
into the
That's
city's
time for your
behaviors.
2 items. Thank you. All right, President King, that's the end of our multiple item commentary.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the approval of minutes for Monday, May 4th, 2026. I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Okay, we have a motion by President King and a second by President Pro Tem Grant. We'll take the roll, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
And President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
All ayes. The minutes are approved.
Thank you very much. Items 1 through 4 are on consent. I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Okay, we have a motion by President King and a second by Vice President Chavez for items 1 through 4 on consent. We'll take roll call, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
And President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Great. All ayes. The items are adopted and carried forthwith.
Thank you very much. And then we'll bring up item number 11, and then we'll go back to the rest of our items. So we'd like to recognize Mr. Thompson back to our podium for our capital infrastructure program. As we load up the presentation, I first want to thank you for briefing members of this board since our last meeting to clarify any information related to the CIP. But so I think there is alignment on this board, but would love for you to kick off with any remarks before we get into deliberations.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. I don't really have any additional feedback or comments, but I just wanted to be available for any questions or concerns you may have before we advance this, and just remind folks where this is headed. After Board of Public Works, this will be sent on to the Council President's office and get referred to a number of committees. Public Works Committee for sure, but potentially 3 or 4 others depending on the appetite in council and what needs to happen there. As you all know, there's 14 departments that are included in ED9 and in the capital planning process. So just based on referrals, it could get sent to quite a few different places. The goal from the mayor's office is for us to have this through council in approximately a month to 6 weeks. We need to pivot to a citywide CIP shortly thereafter. There's a lot of work still ahead. But I'm happy to answer any questions or anything you may have before we do that.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments on item number 11? Vice President Chavez.
Just really quickly, I know you went through and detailed all of the 10 recommendations, which are the framework for the continuing discussion that will occur, not just for the games-focused CAP, but moving on, as you said, the citywide CAP. Can you talk a little bit about, I think some questions that are going to be happening in the future as this moves through the legislative process is what changes in this document, how will they improve both the coordination and the delivery of projects, meaning new projects, but also the maintenance backlog?
Sure. Let me just advance to the 10 recommendations. So let me restate your question. You're specifically asking about improving of delivery for capital projects. So it's envisioned that a lot of the work that we're doing here is basically getting all of our departments on the same systems. Systems consolidation is hugely important for us for capital planning. For all the departments named there within ED9, we are implementing a citywide project management information system. We are leveraging BOE's UPRS system. And so all departments that are a part of this ED9 initiative will be required to use UPRS to advance construction and planning of capital projects. In the past, we have seen fragmentation in our departments by using different systems. And when we do that, it's very difficult for us to resource plan across departments. So I'll give you an example with a streetscape project, for example. What we see in other municipalities like the city of San Diego is they have everyone on the same system and they use that system to long-range plan. So for example, if Hollywood Boulevard needs a water main replacement 10 years from now, we should start planning for that now because there is a sequencing of work that needs to happen. There are resources that need to be put in place. There's engineering that needs to happen. There are basically, to take a dig once strategy, you need to have everyone on the same system so they can see what's ahead. In the past in Los Angeles, we have had departments on different systems. So DOT, for example, was using their own capital planning system that they created called Project Charter. They are now moving towards UPRS and using that. In the 29 projects that we debuted for the CIP, the games focused projects, those are projects that were entered in by Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Street Services, DOT, and others. And so we're starting to get everybody on the same page about what that means delivery-wise so that resources can be planned accordingly. I think the other thing to keep in mind in what we're doing, which is kind of a sea change for Los Angeles, is regularly reporting out on asset classes and what state of repair those asset classes are in. So we have 73 asset classes that are covered in this report. Things like street trees, asphalt, street lights, co-location, a lot of assets throughout the city. And in the asset class reports, we ask the departments to fill out how they are aligning staff to the maintenance and capital delivery of those assets. And in some cases, we have asset classes in the city that do not have dedicated resources for maintenance or for even capital planning. So for example, stairways are something that street services had historically maintained. They are under-resourced to do public stairways in the city of Los Angeles. This doesn't affect everyone in the city. Public stairways are mainly in hillside communities, CD4, CD11, CD5, and others. But if we don't have dedicated resources to maintain our assets, how can we hope to provide good service delivery? Sidewalks are, of course, another one that I know this board has talked a lot about. In this CIP and in this budget, you're starting to see the development of capacity within the Bureau of Engineering and within street services for cement workers and for on-call contracts for us to be able to much more proactively address the maintenance issues and actually have resources attached to the assets that we need to maintain as a city. Longer term, the CIP will include all capital projects in the city, the citywide CIP. But there will be a primary focus, even in future CIPs, on maintenance. Maintenance is what most, I think most of the callers that you hear calling into the city and engaging you all, it's mainly maintenance issues. Why are our sidewalks this way? Can't we deploy crews more nimbly to do sort of, sidewalk sawing and cutting and those kind of more minor maintenance activities that would get us to a better state of repair and reduce our liabilities? So those are really the two C changes that we're trying to do comprehensively within one document. The current process is very opaque. The annual process is hard. It's hard for folks to understand how investments are being made in the public right of way, because every department or bureau has their own budget, and it's not always clearly delineated on how that budget actually maintains assets that the public cares about. So we're doing it well with certain asset classes. I think pavement condition index is one that's very well trodden. We understand that if pavement condition goes under a certain level, that we will have to reconstruct a roadway and there will be liability concerns. We also do it with tree trimming to a certain degree. We're tree trimming on a 17-year schedule. What does it look like for us to get to a 10-year schedule? What are the investments we're going to need to make as a city, both in staffing and perhaps new equipment, in order for us to get to a 10-year maintenance schedule? And so that's the way that we've been thinking about this in the CIP, and that's why in the CIP before you, Section 5, current state of repair, is presented before the capital projects, because we have to talk about maintenance and state of repair as a baseline. Ideally, in the future, 10 years from now, a majority of our capital projects will actually originate from state of repair. They're not going to be elective capital projects and new things. It's going to be, what does it take for us to replace and maintain what we already have? We are an over 100-year-old city. There are lots of aging facilities. We can put the investment into those facilities to repair them, or we can wait until they fail and completely replace them. We have been doing a lot of the latter, and that's been costing us. And costing us more because materials cost, it's been costing us more environmentally, and it's been costing us in liability claims. And frankly, it's been costing us with historic preservation. There's lots of beautiful old facilities and bridges that were built in eras where we put more details. I'm looking in the room around us. We put more details and thought and art into our public infrastructure than we do today. We value engineered a lot of that away. And so we have to make a choice as a city on how we want to preserve that. And a good CIP helps put us on that path. As you all know, this is a decades-old problem. This is going to take a long time for us to build out. But the hope in doing this all in one place and making much more clearer arguments to the public on new resources that may be needed in the years ahead will allow us to hopefully bring in new resources to the city, make a value proposition to voters if we are going to take that approach, and frankly, build a baseline of capacity in our departments to meaningfully address the backlog and stem the flow of additional decay. Any other?
I think that was pretty comprehensive. Thank you very much. I, for one, am very excited about this. President Pro Tem Grant.
Yeah, just one, the way your vision or the vision of the CIP and the systems, I think, for me, presents opportunities to prevent duplication. Using your example, see the water main wasn't 10 years out, but 3 years out. And the same part of the street also has a sidewalk that's broken. So would it, in fact, rather than fix the sidewalk now and then again have to cut and fix the sidewalk again, would this enable someone to look at it and say, we're going to be cutting that sidewalk 2 years down the line, so let's not, Bob, let's do replacement or fixing the sidewalk in another part of the city and hold this one? Does this hopefully provide us with that opportunity to sort of look at the city both wide and deep as well?
Yes, I mean, for sidewalks, I'll take the example that I've seen in other cities. I was recently in Seattle last year, and no matter where you walk through the city of Seattle, you see sidewalk cuts being made all over the city. So in other words, sidewalk saws ground down areas of the sidewalk that had uplifts. You could see through to the substrate and the what looks like terrazzo when you cut through it, right? They were doing that everywhere I went in that city, and I was in quite a few different areas of Seattle. I saw it within residential areas. I saw it within downtown. I think there's a baseline of maintenance that's been missing for a long time for sidewalks, and that's why you see in the last few months BOE and BSS wanting to increase the capacity of their departments to be able to do basic maintenance and be able to deploy crews to be able to do that work. For the larger work, we will always there are always going to be uplifts that are rather significant. I used to work in Council District 11. There were significant sidewalk uplifts due to ficus trees that were planted 50 years ago that were just not properly sited for their locations and necessitated complete reconstruction of a sidewalk in order to address those issues. In order for Los Angeles to meaningfully address its maintenance backlogs, we're going to need to do both of those things. And we need to build out the capacity to deploy crews much more nimbly and quickly to be able to do simple sidewalk cuts and curb shave downs, as well as the more significant overhauls of regrading and the replacement of larger pieces of sidewalk. In Council District 4, there has been a lot of good work along Vermont Boulevard through the corridor up in Los Feliz, where the Dresden is and a lot of those other iconic businesses. They have slowly been replacing those sidewalk panels because we weren't able to do that kind of more mild treatment of maintenance. I think for Los Angeles, a city as large as we are, we're going to need to do everything, and we're going to need to have a variety of tool sets available for us to be able to meaningfully address this. But it's going to be a mix of complete replacements and engineers that will need to figure out sloping and all those more complicated issues. But I think a lot of the work, what Seattle showed me, is just basic maintenance and building out maintenance crews to be able to do the more simple shaving down of sidewalks. Seattle is also quite a hilly city. They have their own challenges with earthquakes and other issues. And I just saw the state of repair for their sidewalks as much better because of the ability of crews to be able to do that baseline of work that we just don't have the capacity currently to address here in LA.
All right. So I think final comments.
Yes, just
Vicky
wanted to
Chavez?
wrap up and say, you know, I'm in strong support of moving this forward. We got to walk before we can run. And I think these are not small things. Getting all the departments on the same shared system and getting everyone to agree on the same set of standards and language is huge. We've never done that. And I think it's really important that everyone sort of, we manage the expectations of what this really is and what it will bring us. And then what the challenges, you know, once we deal with that, the progress that'll get us. And then we sort of hit the next set of challenges. And it's really important that everyone understand the scale at which we're operating. So I'm happy to offer my support on this.
Thank you very much. So with that, I'll move, and it's seconded by Vice President Chavez.
A motion by President Kang and a second by Vice President Chavez. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Great. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. All right, going back to item number 5, TOS number 88, Manchester Junior Apartment Center project.
Good morning, Commissioners. Haji Abdullah here. Excuse me. first real conversation I've had this morning. Ohaji Abdullah here with the Bureau of Engineering Architectural Division. Good morning, Commissioner, City Attorney staff, and executive staff. We are here to seek your permission to revise the task order number 88 to Perkins and Will for architectural and engineering and construction administration services for the Manchester Junior Arts Center project. Your approval would authorize the city engineer to issue a revised task order solicitation to Perkins and Will, increasing the budget authority from $954,000 to approximately $1,137,000. The project is specified Proposition K project initiated by the 1996 ballot measure to provide the community with an art center and a venue for various community activities. The site, located at 5730 South Crenshaw Boulevard, which is roughly Slauson and Crenshaw, and its adjacent parking lot at 5732 South Crenshaw Boulevard. The project consists of the historic rehabilitation and adaptive reuse of an existing building, which is an old fire station, and construction of an ancillary classroom building to meet the Department of Cultural Affairs standards for junior art centers. The existing one-story masonry building is approximately 3,000 square feet and was originally constructed as a fire station in 1936 and later replaced with another fire station in number 66 in 1989. The building received a seismic and structural rehabilitation in 1995 and was subsequently converted from a fire station to a community building at that time. During the community engagement effort, which was provided in the form of local volunteer neighborhood oversight committee meetings, the community requested the scope to be expanded to include additional square footage to accommodate a culinary arts lab and a clay pottery lab and other flexible lab spaces. The project will benefit an underserved neighborhood in the Crenshaw district and will add a much needed junior arts center to the area. Sustainable design features for the project include photovoltaics, energy efficient mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, the use of recycled materials, and a stormwater management system. The project will be designed and constructed to obtain LEED Silver based on the latest United States Green Building Council standards. CD8 has a vested interest in the project's success and has committed discretionary funds that will be applied to the pre-design, design, and construction of the project. Construction costs for the building and site work are estimated to be approximately $11.5 million, and the project is anticipated to be awarded through this board in May of 2027 in terms of its construction contract, and the construction is anticipated to take 2 years. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments on item number 5? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So move.
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Great. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Great. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful week.
Moving on to item number 6, TOS number 113.
Good morning, Board President, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Avila with the Bridge Improvement Division and BOE, presenting this item. The report recommends authorizing BOE to issue task order solicitation number 113 to Mott McDonald to provide engineering services for the first phase of the Sepulveda Boulevard Tunnel near Mulholland Drive, with a total budget authority of $1,497,115. This includes contingency. Project is located on Council Districts 4, 5, and 11, and is funded through SB 1 under the city's capital improvement program. The Sepulveda Boulevard Tunnel is a key corridor between the valley and the west side. Built in 1930, it's been experiencing persistent water infiltration, and over time, this has led to the deterioration such as crackling, spalling, tile loss, and localized pavement issues. A notice of exemption has been filed under CEQA for the emergency repair work. Under this task order, the consultant will prepare plans, specifications, and estimate for the emergency structural repairs and provide support during bid and award phase. The work also includes site investigations, coordination with agencies and stakeholders, and development of traffic control and construction staging plans within an active tunnel environment. The construction phase support and long-term drainage mitigation improvements are not included in this authorization and will be addressed separately under a future phase 2 effort, allowing the city to advance the immediate repair work with current available funding. TOS 113 was distributed to the pre-qualified on-call consultant list, and 4 proposals were received. Mott McDonald was selected based on their qualifications, understanding of the project constraints, and overall value to the city. With that, BOE recommends to issue the task order to advance the emergency repair design and position the project for future constructions. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. I know this is a time-sensitive project. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there first? Yes, President Pro Tem Grant.
Just how long is the tunnel? The length of the tunnel, how long is it?
The length, let me see.
I didn't want to hold up the operations, but it just caught my eye. I couldn't find it.
I don't have that number with me.
Okay.
If you could circle back with us, if you can email TJ Knight and he'll circulate it with the board. But I don't think that will prevent us from moving forward. President Pro Tem Grant first.
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by President Pro Tem Grant, second by President Kang. We'll start the roll call with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 7, change order number 1 for Glendale Hyperion Complex of Bridges.
Greetings, Board President, Commissioners. My name is Andreas Four, Senior Civil Engineer in the Bureau of Engineering Bridge Improvement Division. The purpose of this report is to request the authority to issue change order number 1, which represents a $1,980,000 cost savings to be shared equally between the city and the contractor for the Glendale Hyperion Complex of Bridges Phase 2 project. The result would be a $990,000 credit to the city, which would be added to the project contingency. The scope of the project is to seismically retrofit, structurally widen, and historically rehabilitate the existing complex of bridges at Glendale Boulevard and Hyperion Avenue. The project spans the I-5 freeway and the Los Angeles River. The project is located in the Silver Lake and Atwater Village communities in Council Districts 4 and 13. The project was awarded to Stacy and Whitbeck on November 26, 2025, for a total construction budget of $229,707,376.80, which includes contingency. The project is currently in active construction and is progressing well. The Glendale Hyperion Complex has several different bridge structures which comprise nearly 14 spans. The project will require the removal of all the existing roadway pavement and to be replaced with over 6,000 cubic yards of concrete pavement. The award contract specified a unit price of $925 per cubic yard for jointed plain concrete pavement under bid item number 21, and $1,725 per cubic yard for concrete pavement under a separate bid item number 22. There's a very small difference between jointed plain concrete pavement and regular concrete pavement. Jointed plain concrete pavement is a specific type which has different spacing of joints and things like that, but in essence, they're basically the same thing. The contractor submitted a value engineering change proposal to optimize pavement construction by eliminating bid item number 22 and incorporating all associated quantities under bid item 21 at that lower unit price. All restored pavement will utilize jointed plain concrete pavement. The substitution was reviewed and approved by the engineer of record for the project. The substitution will result in a $1.98 million cost savings for the pavement work. In accordance with the FHWA Code of Federal Regulations for value engineering change proposals, proposed by the contractor can be shared 50-50. Change order number 1 will result in a net cost savings to the project by implementing those bid item quantity adjustments in the amount of $1.98 million to be deducted from the contract. Stacy and Whitbeck will be compensated $990,000 lump sum for their share of the savings. The remainder will result in a net deduction change order of $990,000 to the contract contingency. The total construction contract budget will remain the same at the $229 million. The only difference will be the project in contingency will be increased by $990,000 for a revised total of $22,862,488.80. The contingency now represents 11.05% of the total contract budget. The project is federally funded by Caltrans Highway Bridge Program discretionary grant funds and is funded through SB1 and MICLA. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? Good to see some savings through it. I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Okay, motion by President Kang, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant. We'll take the roll, starting with you, President Kang,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
and President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Great, all ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 8, contract acceptance at Vista Del Mar.
Good morning, President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant. My name is Peter Rue. I'm Chief Construction Inspector, Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to present two projects for board acceptance. The first project is the Vista Del Mar 8554 Slope Mitigation Project, work order E1909113. On August 16, 2023, an emergency geotechnical structural construction services contract was awarded by this board on a competitive basis in the amount of $249,610 to Mike Perlich and Sons for this project, 8554 Slope Mitigation. It consisted of construction of pipe and board construction near 8554 Vista Del Mar to restore lateral support to the roadway. Statement of completion was issued on October 30th, 2023. As stated, this project was awarded for $249,610 with a not to exceed amount of $299,532. There was one change order issued increasing the amount by $9,659.25, bringing the final total contract amount to $259,269.25. There were no funds disputed or withheld. The contractor complied with all EEO, Equal Employment Opportunity, and labor compliance requirements of the contract. There were no unresolved property owners' complaints in connection with this project. Contractor performance evaluation reports were submitted. That concludes my report for this project. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments, colleagues? Seeing none, I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Okay, motion by President Kang, second by Vice President Chavez. We'll take the roll call with you, President Kang.
Aye.
You. Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant. Great, all ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. Moving on
Second
to
project.
9.
Is Temple Hill Drive 6164 West Bulkhead Project, work order E1909010. On June 21st, 2023, an emergency geotechnical structural construction services contract was awarded on a competitive basis by this board in the amount of $511,897 to Clark Contracting Corporation for this project. This project restored lateral support to the roadway by constructing a bulkhead with 8 soldier piles and precast lagging panels. It includes construction of new asphalt pavement, asphalt berm, metal beam guardrail, and chain link fencing along the bulkhead. Statement of completion was issued on March 1st, 2024. As stated, this project was awarded for $511,897 with a not to exceed amount of $575,893. There were 6 change orders issued on this project, decreasing the contract amount by $27,552.71, bringing the final total contract amount to $483,344.29. There were no funds disputed or withheld on this project. The contractor complied with all equal employment opportunity, and labor compliance requirements for this project. There were no unresolved property owners' complaints in connection with this project. A contractor performance evaluation report was submitted. And that concludes my report on this project. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this one? Looks fine on my end. I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Okay, motion by President King, second by President Pro Tem Grant. We'll take the roll, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez?
Aye.
And President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Great, all ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our final item, number 10, for contract award for affordable housing for Round 3 Path Villas Hollywood.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jan Chen, and I'm here representing the Bureau of Engineering Street Improvement Division to request authority to award the construction contract for the, and apologies for the long name, Affordable Housing, Sustainable Communities, Round 3 Path Villas Hollywood Sustainable Transportation Infrastructure and Transportation-Related Amenities Improvements Project. This project is part of the Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities, or ASIC, state grant, Round 3. The project will reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve mobility by providing pedestrian and transit improvements within a 1-mile radius of the affordable housing development, which is located at 5627 West Fernwood Avenue. These improvements include sidewalk, access ramps, crosswalks, bike and bus facilities, new street trees, and improved street lighting. The contract duration for this work is 300 calendar days. The project is funded by the ASIC grant fund, as well as SB1 funds and additional Proposition HHH funds, which is administered by the Los Angeles Housing Department. The portion funded by the ASIC state grant will be front funded by the Los Angeles Department of Transportation Grant Fund, or TGF. When the city advertised the project and received bids, the firm Environmental Construction Inc. was the lowest bidder, but they subsequently sought and received authorization from the city to withdraw their bid. This withdrawal makes the Axiom Group the second lowest bidder, the new low bid at $5,684,890.34. The mandatory subcontracting minimum requirements for this project is 25%, and the contractor has complied by pledging a subcontractor participation level of 27.18%. In view of the above findings, staff recommends that the board declare Axiom Group to be the lowest responsible bidder and award them the contract for this project. And that concludes my briefing.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments on number 10? All right, looks good. Thank you very much. Is there a first and a second?
So move.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, second by Vice President Chavez.
Great, we'll take the roll call, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Thank you.
Vice President Chavez?
Aye.
And President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Great, all ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. So with that, I believe that concludes our items for today.
Yes, that is the end of our agenda items.
Our next regular meeting of the Board of Public Works will be on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. The meeting now is adjourned at 11:50 a.m.